All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Eddie Hearn didn't care too much about Anthony Joshua, threw him to the wolves, made him fight with a concussion after a panic attack. That's the reports coming out, and we're gonna talk about that and if it even matters. All right, man. So I've been listening to the reports, watching the videos, listening to the live streams, all this stuff about what Anthony Joshua was going through when he walked out through his ring walk, went to the ring and got beat up and stopped and eventually quit against Andy Ruiz. Okay? Now, people are debating whether or not that's true or whether it's not true, whether it's an excuse. Or I guess the better way to say it is whether it's true or whether it's just an excuse, right? One, is it true? Two, is it an excuse? My answer to that, people, is it's both. It could very well all be true and it's still an excuse. Ain't no getting off the hook for that, man. Ain't no getting off the hook. Ain't no redemption coming. None of that. That is Anthony Joshua's team we're talking about, okay? That's his promoter. That's his trainer. Those are all the people around him in his camp. And he said he's the boss. Eddie Hearn said he's the boss. So if he's the boss, the buck stops with him. Whether that is an injury, a vicious knockout that took place in training camp, if that was the case and he wasn't ready for the fight, if he's the boss, pull out of the fight. Now, pulling out of the fight more than likely would have cost Eddie Hearn and Matchroom a ridiculous amount of money, all the way to the point of threatening the viability of Matchroom boxing, period. Because DAZN could turn around and sue Eddie Hearn for breach of contract. For all the money that they invested on Anthony Joshua, all of the advertising, whatever they did to invest in that, Eddie Hearn might have wound up having to come out of pocket for a considerable amount of that. You obviously would have let down a lot of fans, a lot of UK fans that had already bought their tickets. And since Eddie Hearn had already and his, set that pre-sale record, he would have had to refund everybody that bought those daggone tickets. But if it was him, he ain't getting no refund from Madison Square Garden. Anyway, look, Ed, I have no doubt in my mind that Anthony Joshua's mind was not right for that fight. I don't doubt it at all. I saw Anthony Joshua's daddy try to whoop Eddie Hearn. I saw that too. I'm quite sure there's a lot of people, if they were given a chance, would whoop Eddie Hearn. I completely feel him. Shoot, if I could slap Eddie Hearn, man, I might be tempted to do it. All the nonsense this dude's been talking for the last 2 years. But they're all still excuses. There are fighters, if you had a concussion, you shouldn't have fought. If you didn't feel like you were going to be able to defend yourself, you should have pulled out of the fight. Period. Should have pulled out of the fight. Once you walked out that dressing room and you walked down there, dude, you got to live with whatever happened. And I know this, and I know that I know that to be true. And I think it is only fair to hold AJ in the court of public opinion responsible for that. Because there ain't no way in the world that Eddie Hearn would be cutting, or maybe not Anthony. Anthony Joshua seems like he might be an understanding guy, at least in his verbiage. Maybe not Anthony Joshua, but I am 100% positive. Ain't none of the people that claim to be supporters of his gonna cut anybody any breaks that he knocked out. How do I know that Dominic Brazil didn't have a sprained toe when he got knocked out by Anthony Joshua? Shoot, Vladimir Klitschko was 42 years old and ain't nobody cutting him a break. He hadn't fought in 2 years, was 42 years old and coming off of a loss, and ain't nobody cut him any breaks when he lost to Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua don't get no breaks. Sorry. Deontay Wilder said that he fought with a camp where he was sick. He fought for several rounds with a broken hand, fractured bones, all those type of things he said that he went through, right? Came in weighing 212 pounds for his fight against Tyson Fury. Ain't nobody giving him any credit for the fact that he had a cold and injuries in that camp and didn't feel right. Nobody's cutting anybody any breaks, man. All right? We're not going to do what these cats is. Tyson Fury got not handing out any moral victories for Tyson Fury because he was able to go 12 rounds and stick his hands behind his back. The fact of the matter is he didn't win the fight. He's not the WBC champion. Not cutting Anthony Joshua any break as regards to the outcome of this fight because he lost his belts and he had all the control, according to him and according to what people have said, that AJ's his own boss. He had all of the ability in the world to not go out there and fight. Even if he walked out that door and he was like, I don't want to do this, and Eddie Hearn it convinced him, still, he had to be convinced. It was not legal for anybody to have forced Anthony Joshua to walk out of that door and go out there and fight. He didn't have to do it. Now, it might have been the right thing for him to do it, being a true champion and all that good old stuff, all that rigmarole, but he did it. So come on, man. No breaks, man. No breaks. All right. No breaks for that. Can't do it. Now, I also have to be honest here. I can't cut him any breaks because once again, man, I am not ashamed to admit it. I can be petty. Okay. And in all the time that I've been talking about boxing on YouTube, it's not that long. It's about 2 years. The most irritating group of fans that I've ever had to experience and the way that they talk about fights are you American Anthony Joshua fake fans. I'm not even talking about the UK guys. I'm talking about the American channels. I went to your channels. I saw all the comments. I watched the video. I watched them. And you guys are still trying to make excuses. Anthony Joshua didn't get exposed. Yeah, he did. If Anthony Joshua didn't get exposed, there ain't nobody that has ever been exposed in the history of boxing. He got knocked out. He lost all his belts. He got beat up by Andy Ruiz. He was a 20. I've heard all kind of numbers for what number of favorite he was. All right? He's George Foreman. He could be George Foreman, but that ain't Muhammad Ali that upset him like that. All right? That's Andy Ruiz that did that to him. He's got to lay, and now I might be more open to cutting Anthony Joshua a break because that's really and truly is in my heart. When I heard that he was supposed to have come out with a concussion, when I watched the presentations people were making about how he looked coming out the locker room, all of that stuff, when I saw his dad, when I heard about his dad and saw the replay of his dad trying to beat up Eddie Hearn, I really felt for him. Specifically, I felt for his father. And I'm quite sure there's something that really, really, really made his father feel like that. And there's all kind of skullduggery that goes on in the sport of boxing. And AJ is not going to be immune from that, right? So when I thought about making this video, I was almost going to come out here sympathetic. But then I remembered what his fans were about. And remember all the disrespect and the lack of sympathy and the lack of caring, the lack of respect, the lack of acknowledgement of everything that Deontay Wilder's done in his career. And as a result, I cannot extend a line of credit to AJ's chin. I just can't do it. He's got to sit on that L. He's got to accept that L. Eddie Hearn says that they're going to be coming out and talking about when the rematch is going to happen, really, really soon. Oh, AJ, you shouldn't even do it. If that boy but if he gets out there and he jumps out in a rematch and gets beat up again, that's all on AJ. Because if he wasn't right the first time and he ain't right on the second time and he decides to go out, dog, go do a Keith Thurman. Go to the mountains of DePaul, find you a pretty wife or whatever you like, and come back when your mind is fresh, when the pay-per-view is ready for you. But if you do it any sooner than that, dog, it's all on you. Now, that's my take on the matter. Again, AJ gets no slack because he had because he got beat up in sparring. if you got beat up in sparring and had a concussion from sparring, hey man, why are you letting your sparring partners beat up on your head like that? Okay? Murad McCracken, did you not know? Now, somebody who's a boxer can educate me on this, but why is it exactly that you got sparring partners going vicious at AJ's head when AJ got a fight coming up? All right? That's a lot of money on the line, man. Did you put him in some headgear? I don't know. Some boxing fan can tell me, some in-ring boxer can tell me what string of events would allow AJ to have a sparring partner that goes full blown at his head trying to knock him out. Anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.